anime, we all like different things and analyze it and think about it a little bit differently. And today, I want to talk about and propose to the gang. Shout out to Ozzy for coming through, bro. I want to know what you think about the anime that you watch. What's your process of really internalizing it after you watch and while you watch, and how much thought do you put into just the media that you consume, man?
I'm a little iffy, right? So with me, it really depends on the scenario when I gotta watch an anime series. Like, if it's like people are overreacting or hyping up a series, it's one of two ways. It's either I'm gonna go into it expecting the greatest thing ever. If it doesn't suit my taste right then and there, if everybody's overhyping it like Ninja Kamui, I was like, all right, I'm gonna treat this like it's anime of the year. Every episode, I said that's how I'm gonna go in. And if it's not like that, then I ain't gonna be disappointed, but it is what it is to me. I just like, okay, it's decent. Because I think most fan perceptions and stuff, majority of the time, fan feedback is bad. To me, at least when it comes to anime, it's pretty bad. I don't agree with it. But when it's a show that I like, I put my expectations low, so I never get disappointed. And then if it gets better, like kind of super for me, then it's kind of just at that level. Like, I don't really think too much of it. It's just, if it's a bad series, I know it's gonna be bad because the story is just something I can't sit through, and I'm gonna like fall asleep. It's very weird to disappoint me.
Okay, I can see that, and I feel that because I think with a lot of people, just in general, with social media and the news cycle, how fast things go, especially in anime. Like, we operate like we're one of the few industries that, in terms of media, that operates on like a damn near, if not monthly, seasonal basis. Like, there's no other medium. Shout out to Mugen, who said this a few weeks ago, but there's no other medium that you go into and like over the course of 12 weeks, they're like, oh, you only watch 3 seasonal movies, you only played 3 video games this season. Like, what? That type of buy-in just isn't there. So I think you're right. It comes with very reactionary, like, people hyping up a series off of 2 episodes worth, which is really like an hour worth of television, of a show, and then over the course of it, they end up reading it wrong or just jumping the gun, and now you have to overreact and over course correct, and you just take back something that you said later because you truly didn't understand, or just give it time to prove what it was. Alex, how are you feeling about it?
So I said an example earlier. It's called Rodin, The Way of the Lone Wolf. It's on Netflix. I've been seeing clips about it. People have been watching it, saying it's next, like, it's really good. First couple minutes, the pacing is okay. And the thing about that is, for me, if it's simple, the talking isn't boring. I think you can get hooked onto the show. For me, that's technically. But the thing is that the pacing for the story is like, all right, he fights a bear. He's in the hospital now. He's fighting for all these other people. But there's no backstory to any of this, which was weird. And the thing is that conversations that each character were having were quite boring. They didn't really help me understand what the story is about. It was simple, but the thing is that it was quite boring at the same time, which I lost my interest. I'm like, people are telling me this is good, but this is quite boring. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, I understand what's going on, but at the same time, I still don't know what's going on. But my current taste right now, I've been watching, is Delicious in the Dungeon. You might be like, Alex, it's like a kid's show. Well, it's not. It's like, it looks kiddish, but overall, it's a good show because it's simple, gets to the point. You understand why people, what they're doing. They're down there just exploring a dungeon, eating monsters, making new recipes, and overall, the story does get better overall. And the thing is, it's simple and it's easy to understand, and then like it feeds the brain. You're like, I'm enjoying this. I know what's going on. These conversations aren't boring. Media needs to be easily digested and not overcomplicated for people to miss like these little windows, like to connect each like scene.
I can agree to an extent. Azzy, were you gonna say something?
Nah, I was thinking something though. I wasn't gonna say that. I was thinking. I go into it because I wasn't even thinking to say nothing. But what reminded me of what you said with that, Alex, is like one of my favorite all-time animated shows to this day that I feel like can rival anime. I ain't gonna lie to you. Is Young Justice.
Young Justice was real good in my opinion.
Like dead serious.
That's very interesting to me.
Like all right, but nah, Young Justice. So I didn't watch it when it came to Cartoon Network. Like, I probably saw like 4 episodes here and out. I didn't get into it till like later in like around 2020. So a couple years ago, like 2020, 2021 era.
Yeah.
And I binged it. And going into it, and for like season 1, even season 4, if the main 2 seasons, like season 1 and season 2, that's peak Young Justice. Season 3 kind of go down, and then season 4 kind of brings it back with the story if you follow it with like Superboy and things of that nature. But the whole reason I'm talking about that is because unless a show has the main story and the focus point, and it's just like somewhat easy to digest, but it gives you bits and pieces that's a little bit complex as you go down the line, like you gotta pay attention to it, right? it's a show where like you can turn your brain off and still enjoy it. But if you don't do that at all and you try to break down everything with all these DC characters and try to see the bigger mystery, it has a bigger payoff as well. So both sides are still winning. And I feel like even with like the later season 4, it was the same way because it's like a learning experience, even if you don't know some of these characters or you're going with it. And I kind of feel like certain things with anime don't, or at least anime fans don't really do it as much because they just trying to get to the action or whatever it is to the main story, don't really focus on nothing else. And I feel like that's where a big connect with like anime fans and people who've been watching for a while.
The reason why I say that the Young Justice praise is interesting is because I'm looking at my channel and 2 years ago, almost to the day, 29,109 views on a video called Young Justice Downfall from Grace.
I think I watched your video, bro.
and the thumbnail is from great to garbage. And look, I love Young Justice because before this, I made a video called Young Justice DC Secret Masterclass, and I was talking about the first 2 seasons and how you're right. I think it's a perfect blend, and I think to Alex. I haven't seen Delicious in Dungeon yet. I've heard. I know a lot of people that are big fans of the manga, and I've heard that it is a much watched show for me, as well as Apothecary Diaries, as well as like 3 other things that I have to watch. I'm gonna watch it next season because there's nothing coming out next season. I'm sorry, but when it comes to that, I think that there's a balance that you can obtain. There's a level of action that most of us. I think all 3 of us up here, a majority of the shows that we watch probably contain some type of action. If not, just a solid amount of them. And I think that there's a level of balance that you have to obtain between like simpleness, high levels of choreography, high levels of pacing to keep the story moving, as well as new enemies, as well as introducing new power systems if your story has that, of course, or just new conflict in general. And I do think that there is a certain level of complexity that is partially required for the greatest stories. I think that a story like even Avatar, right? Or I'll stick with anime for an example. Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan started its initial reign in 2013. I believe the anime started and the manga 2010 or 2011, and it was, for all intents and purposes, an apocalyptic survival story based on action and based on revenge. You had very simple character motivations, progressing a story into a world that was like pretty black and white. Titans bad, humans kind of good, but mostly just like trying to survive. Aaron, very simple, kill all Titans. You had that for season 1. You had that makeup, and then he becomes a Titan shifter. Okay, so he's using the power to fight the power. That's fine, right? But as the story progresses, there are different seeds, there are different twists, there are different turns that are implanted into the story to make it more convoluted, right? And I think when it comes to stories like that, they're still needed, right? You can always use a palate cleanser. You can always use a refresher. If Delicious in Dungeon is, relatively simple, that can be one of them. For me, that's something like Fire Force. To be honest, like I don't see much in Fire Force aside from like amazing action and amazing choreography. I don't see much in it. So whenever it comes out or comes back, it's a palate cleanser to me. There are definitely shows that have their place when it comes to that, big dumb action movies as well. But I do think that for the top of the top, you need some complexity, man. You need some deep characters. You need the sympathetic villain. You need the anti-hero who gets a redemption arc. You need the hero's journey that gets complicated because the hero's having conflicts of which side they should take. Like you need that. I don't know. I think that takes your story to a different level. Sorry for the yap fest.
No, you're fine.
But
I feel like it's multiple things with that one though. Like I feel like you do need it to some extent, but it also comes with like the period of time you're in. I feel because like if every story, which I do feel like 2010 ish era, anime stories was. I feel like anime stories was better than it was now. Like the stuff that we getting now. I think 2010, 2015, 2016. I feel like we had top tier stuff like ReZero, Overlord, Darara, stuff like that, all happening around the same time. They all had complexities, but they also had these like simple moments as well. I feel like it just generally depends on how you can captivate the audience. I feel like in the beginning, if you do something that's like unique and complex, but then you mellow it out and it's a little bit more simple, I feel like that works a little bit better versus it's like mainly complex. Because AOT for me, this may be a hot take. I think it's a good show, but it ain't gonna be my top 10. I ain't gonna lie. If somebody said I had to remove AOT and don't watch it again, I'm gonna remove it and don't watch it again. It's gonna be the hottest take in the world.
Hey,
But I enjoy because I've been watching. No, think about it. AOT came out when I was in middle school. I was in middle school in 2015. I was a middle schooler. I loved AOT. It was something new, unique, amazing. And when I got into it, it somewhat frightened me. I ain't gonna lie, because seeing Titans as a I don't know what age I was in middle school, but a sixth or seventh grader, and I'm a small kid, see these big Titans kill people on Toonami, which I shouldn't have been watching at the time, a little frightening. And that 4 year gap, all the way to season 2, it kind of lost, to me at that moment, it kind of lost not its momentum, it kind of lost its drive and feeling. Not because all of it was like they was giving you revelation after revelation. Oh, people might be turning into so and so or stuff like that, and I thought it was enjoyable, but I feel like it didn't have that same intensity. I guess from the beginning, it was like characters not out of character, and they was fleshing out the side characters, which was good. But to me, it was kind of like they're doing extra things that don't really need to happen for the story. And yes, later on it makes a little bit of sense. But when you really take season 2, where they like flushing out the side characters, and then go into season 3, and they mainly just focus on Levi and Aaron and Historia. Season 3, part 1, and then part 2 is really just make sure Aaron doesn't get captured. Oh, we about to reveal the traitors. It's kind of like, to me, it kind of lost what made AOT special. For, not even counting season 4, it's just that whole drive of like main focus was Aaron and stuff and the people that he was caring about. So these characters, it's like they're cool, but what they really mean anything at the end of the day? And I think because the ending of AOT, they kind of didn't mean anything at the end of the day to me. To me, they really didn't. They really didn't mean nothing. Like,
I can see that. I think for me, and you know, I respect it. I have like Hunter x Hunter sitting at my 10, and like I know as soon as I watch like Monster, as soon as I get through Another Fate probably, or just like other classics that like I've been holding off for a long time, it's gonna be out my top 10. And and that's another classic. So like, hey, everyone has that one classic that they're just like, I don't get it, I don't see it. So I respect it, I get it. To AOT though, I'll say this when it comes to it, I can get that. I can get that, especially if you were there in 2013 or 2014, even like slightly afterwards, watching season 1, and like you were along for the hype ride. Like you were there, and it was the story that I outlined like for season 1. And the thing is that when stories expand, you're seeing it right now with like Vinland Saga too. When stories start to expand into something that like wasn't super present at the beginning, and turn into okay, now Thorfinn's going through this arc to where he's getting retribution for his murder sprees, basically, because he was a murderer. Even though everyone in that world is a murderer, everyone like they're in a war. He like because we're following Thorfinn, he's going through this arc internally that is turning him into not necessarily a pacifist, but someone who is thinking twice before swinging his sword, who's trying to make sure that he's swinging his sword or that he's fighting for a better reason, or a reason that he actually believes in, instead of mindless fighting. But that's not the story that some people signed up for in season 1. They signed up for swinging. They signed up for this revenge story. And when that ends, does that mean that the show ends? Does that mean that it's basically it goes back to Death Note? Even does Death Note just end when L dies? Should it just have ended? Should Dragon Ball just have ended? Or should have just continued to pass the torch to Gohan? Or was it okay to retread all of that and then hand the spotlight back to Goku and bring him back to life for like the 50th time? It goes back to that of just like watching these stories evolve, and I can get like, not getting the thing that you signed up for. But I will say this, Even going back to like your first point, when it comes to like what people want out of stories, I think that because of Attack on Titan and because of the audience that it was able to garner for over a decade, by the time it had ended, um, and kind of recouped people after that 4 year hiatus in the first place. Between outside of anime stuff that we saw here in the West, between Game of Thrones, even the MCU, basically just conditioning audiences to follow plot lines that were ever evolving and ever changing over a very long period of time. I do think that a lot of people are starting to look for that. A lot of people, because of Thanos, because of the interconnected weaving of Game of Thrones, because of Aaron, because of Death Note, like where the protagonist is someone who is potentially morally wrong. Um, Even I'm blanking. Kogias, even Kogias, following a character who is morally in the gray, who does things that you might disagree with at times or whatever. That complexity, and also the idea of telling a story in season 2 that isn't what was present in season 1. I think a lot of people are starting to look for that. I'm not gonna lie. I think people are adapting to want that even more.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to say it because I'm about to ask Alex. Like, Alex, how you feel about that first? Because I ain't trying to override nobody.
You talking about AOT? That one?
No, I was just talking about what Cardiac has said because I got something to say, but I'm gonna wait. Oh wait.
No, you can
people's
say
taste
it.
evolve.
Okay.
You can
So
go.
so I do agree to some extent, right? I feel like it's to this extent. This is why I do feel like when it comes to the complexity of the stories, people do like the ending payoff, and they like to see how it grew along as they was following along. But I don't think people are patient enough. If people had to watch AOT, like majority of fans who watched it in 2020 or even the ending of the final season, and they had to watch it since 2016 or 15 when it came out, I don't think they would care about that payoff. I think a lot of people only care about these payoffs because they're already like about to binge the series or about to make it
Yeah.
to the finish cut line, like the finish line. I mean, because if we really take into consideration, like the MCU is doing that again, they're restarting from like technically their new phase. I think phase 5, and I'm following along. Well, I'm trying to follow along with majority of these new properties, and it doesn't have that same feeling. Like even before, because Iron Man came out, and I was a child. I'm 22 years old. I was a child, and I was automatically captivated by Iron Man. I was automatically captivated by Thor. Like I watched those when they were by themselves before they was MCU property. But there's a lot of people who, when they get into stuff, they binge it. And like I talk to some of my followers on a regular, and he talks to me about this anime series that he watching. And when he watched a series, he binged it all the way out. I don't think a lot of people got the mental capacity to take something like Code Geass and wait each week for it to unravel. I'm not saying people wouldn't, but I think a bigger payoff is that they get to binge it, see the ending or see the closest to the ending, and be like, you know what, I was a part of this experience. That's get more shows that's like this. But when it comes to other things that's building that way, like Villain Saga, it was episodic. Most
Mhm.
people caught up after season 1, and it was going week to week. People didn't like that. And then on the Twitter, people was talking about Invincible season 2. Some people didn't like it because the ending, but I saw some people hated Invincible season 2 because they couldn't binge it. And I'm like, what's the point of that? And it's like if series not bingeable, that means it's trash. So I think that takes into part of the media literacy type thing.
That goes into it too. I will say
Yeah.
I'll disagree with the Invisible thing because Invisible
Okay.
is a little different since the break.
Okay.
Since
No, I
the
said some people. I said some people. I said some
oh
people.
yeah,
That's a little. Yeah, that's
for
a little
sure.
different. I'm just talking about like if you was like even if, let's just take not even season 2 but season 1 if you was going episodic. That's what I mainly
Yeah,
meant.
and I get that, and that's true. And that's true, especially with the way that streaming services have come in, and we talked about it on here too. Just reformatted how people like engage with media, binging culture versus weekly culture, speeding up processing, speeding up conversations, eliminating theorizing conversations, eliminating the wait or whatever. That definitely goes into it too. So like a lot of people's brains are just now designed for binging. They're designed to watch all of Fallout in one weekend, but get mad when X-Men 97 comes out over the course of 3 months.
Yeah.
So like I get that, and that also goes into it to where like some people just their attention spans and just their ability to like keep up with something on a consistent basis is definitely done. But I will say I think there's less of that in anime because of the nature of the medium. Like we're watching shows that first off don't originate with us. Like these aren't American shows. These aren't for an American audience. These are shows that like still have a airtime like on like broadcast television in Japan. And so I think that because of that, especially people whose the first and last medium and shows that they watch on a daily basis or on a weekly basis is anime. I think that those people are still more conditioned to still be patient and still watch shows on a weekly basis and still be able to consume that. Now there is still some bingers. There is still some people who's like, oh, I'm gonna just wait till it's all in English and I'm gonna just watch it. I know Shao Dama, he's one of them people. He not gonna watch this shit unless it's in English, unless all the episodes are out, I believe. But I still think that for a lot of the nerds, a lot of anime people, uh, they still conditioned to digest it on a slower basis. Now I say that as someone who watches anime on 1.5 speed, but that's beyond the point. That's
God damn.
that's beyond the point.
1.5.
Yeah, look, I'm telling you, y'all will never know how slow people talk until you speed it up. Akaiba Maid War. I don't know if you've seen Akaiba Maid War when it was coming out. What was that? Fall of 22. I think that was fall of 22. That was like it was in a stack season, and it was like one of the
Yeah.
only season ones that I was watching. I watched it on 1.5 times speed. Oh my god, so much funnier. The jokes just hit like just that because they have a lot of like cutaway humor. But like when it's so slow, when it's on normal speed, it's slow. So the cutaway humor doesn't hit because there's like 4 more frames. But when you speed it up, it's like a cut frame. And it's like, oh, this joke just hit like 10 times better. I'm telling you.
You should do the 1.5 challenge watching Psyche K. You will love it.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Yeah,
Watch Psyche K with 1.5.
I've only seen Psyche K through like Tevin videos, if you know your bud Tevin. So,
Yeah.
and like, I have no idea
It's
what I'd
fast.
even be in for.
It's very fast.
I know it's a lot of gag humor in there. But Alex, how do you? Let me ask you a question, Alex. How do you think your viewing habits and the way that you ingest anime have changed over time? Like, if you had to grade yourself 10 years ago or 5 years ago on how much you thought about the shows you were watching compared to now, how do you think that that's changed?
I think I'm more patient than I usually am. Like, I remember watching. What did I watch? That I binge Vinland. Vinland Saga was on Crunchyroll because I maybe watched the first season. And I know season 2 was already out, and everything was like full forward. Like, I like 20 episodes ahead. I'm like, holy crap! All right, I'll binge watch the show. This, and it got to the point where I had caught up to the season, and what do you call it? I had to wait a couple weeks for them to throw out new episodes, and I was like, okay, fine with that. I'll come back to this later, maybe in the next 2 weeks, and I'll go watch something else, or I'll eventually go distract myself. I'll wait a couple weeks, or I'll just generally just forget about it. Oh, I have some downtime and see if Vinland Saga is back up. Boom, 2 episodes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes right there. Boom, watch both right there, and then eventually just enjoy that. Same thing. I think it's changed with me being more patient instead of being like eager to go look it up or like figure what's happening next. I remember myself. I remember when Bleach came out, maybe about 10 years ago. I think it was around 15, 16. That's when I watched it, and it was on Netflix. And I had like all the seasons and everything. Remember originally reading it, like in high school, but before that, I was like, you know what, I'll just watch it. Two that was like a whole 2 weekends, maybe not 2 weekends, like maybe a week or two of just watching Bleach, catching up, past the like every arc. And I'm over here, I'm like, where can I get the rest of this? I was being more impatient. I was like, I want to watch this more, looking up other places to figure out where it is. But I think the older I got, I was like, I can wait on this and I'll come back to it. I think over time, I'm just being more patient, understanding things that don't really come out as much as fast as you think. Like the thing with like the Invincible thing, I have not watched it yet. I've seen clips of it. I'm eventually gonna watch it, but not right now. I think I'll just wait for it. It's nothing really important that I really want to watch right now. Like I think the only thing I've really been waiting for is like Delicious and Dungeon. Like it's every Thursday. It's been like this Thursday and the next Thursday. I'm gonna wait for. I'm like, okay, cool. I know what the next day, and I'll probably breeze through the week with work and like working out, and I'm like, all right, cool, new episodes, I'll watch it. So I think being more patient than I usually am,
Okay. Okay.
instead of just being like, I want this now.
Yeah, immediate gratification type beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's interesting considering how much TikTok you watch. But anyway, Asa, how do you think you've changed?
Hey. All right.
Oh no, I'm the same as that way. Not Alex. I'm the same from years ago. I'm pretty
Really?
bad with this. If it's a show, like most of the time when I'm watching anime, I'm like, all right, it's cool, it's decent. Like I'm not going. If we go based on my anime list scale, so most anime to me is like a good 6 or 7, or no, it's always a solid 6, just fine or good. But then when I get that couple of shows that I think just really good, that solid 8 to 9 spectrum, I'll be like, dang, where can I find this? Where can I find this? Where can I find this? For like a solid 2, maybe 3 days, and then I calm down again. I'm like, you know what? I can be patient. I can be patient. But I kind of go on that back to back. If it's a show that I just really, really like, I try to find out some new information, try to see if there's some leaks or something. But it's not often, but I have not changed from how I was as a kid. I'm gonna be honest.
That's crazy. That's
I
crazy.
have not changed at all. I was like that with Invincible. I was like, right after season 1 ended, I was like, for 2 days straight, I was contemplating reading the comic book. And one thing about me, oh guys, black dude don't read. I'm just gonna say that now, but like,
Oh my God.
somebody gonna say something about it, so I just gotta say it now. But yeah, I don't like reading manga that much, or like reading comic books. Like I barely have ever read comics ever. I have read a decent amount of manga, but just not that many comics ever. And so 2 days after it ended, I was like, I just gotta binge it, and I read everything. So if it's a series that I just like, it hits home with me. Oh, best believe I'm looking it up everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, don't let me find something I love. Everybody gonna hear me talk about it for the whole week.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. Look, when
Yeah.
you can ask anyone that was around me when I first watched Arcane, because I didn't even watch it when it came out. I watched it like a year later. You would have thought that it was airing weekly, like the way that I was live tweeting during those watching those episodes. But for me, I'd like to say that I haven't changed. But I've definitely changed, and I'd also like to say that I've changed in terms of patience, but I haven't. I haven't. If anything, I've gotten less patient simply because I think that with me wanting to do YouTube, and of course, being on the pod, getting on social media, I like 5 years ago. 5 years ago was what, 2019. Just
Oh my
finished.
gosh.
Just finished my
It's
freshman year.
2019.
I was barely on social media, man. I was like, I had Instagram because I was a inner city black kid in the Houston school system, and everyone had Instagram. But like, I was slowly getting off of Snapchat. I didn't have a Twitter, not for real, for real. Was never on Facebook. Was too young for MySpace, so I didn't even have like a leftover thing. I really was not on social media like that. But as of course, COVID came, got more into content creation, got more into social media. It sped up my attention span. Well, it slowed down my attention span, and I hate to say it because I'm someone who really prides myself on like uh going outside, reading different things, doing research, being slower and methodical, being old school, or whatever. I loathe like accelerating technology, but in terms of how I consume anime specifically, or like even just like shows and movies in general, I found myself pulling out my phone in the middle of episodes, not movies. Now, I'd never pull out my phone during a movie. No, never.
That's crazy.
That's a sin.
Crazy.
But like, I'll admit to like this past Go Go Loser Ranger episode, I was like, man, I wonder if Meg posted. And I just would see if Meg posted. But like, I shouldn't be thinking that. I should be able to sit down and like digest what I'm seeing. So like, whenever we come on here, I can have an accurate depiction and accurate description of what I saw and how I felt about what I saw. And I think that sadly, a lot of people can also share in that. I think that the level of multitasking that a lot of people do, especially when watching anime, especially if you're not watching at 1.5 times speed, allows your mind, like your mind is starting to naturally drift off onto other things. You're starting to scroll while watching these things. You're starting to think about other stuff while watching these things instead of just letting the show just like encapsulate you. You know, instead of being invested into it, instead of slowing down and just like watching what you're supposed to be watching. And I'm not saying supposed to be as in like you owe it to the anime, but like supposed to be as in assumingly you're paying for a subscription service, you decided what episode to watch, you clicked on it, and you invested, and you want to invest 30 minutes of your time into like truly understanding what you want to watch. And I think that for a lot, even going back to your point earlier, um when it comes to binging, I think that when it comes to binging, a lot of people, the thing that I hate about binging is that it doesn't give in between time. It doesn't give you time to digest. You're just going season after season, episode after episode, constant intake without processing, without slowing down, without changing the environment, without discussing it with somebody else, without theorizing what comes next, about theorizing what can come next, how you would do it, and then seeing how it gets paid off. And I think that when it comes to that, that's how you get people rushing to write Attack on Titan articles because they misunderstand hand gestures or they misunderstand labels or systems that are used within the world and think that Isayama is promoting Nazi propaganda. And it's like, what? What are you doing? Why are you writing this CBR? It's because you needed an article. It's because you
Got the
needed an
name
article.
drop.
And you put someone on that anime that like watched it all in a weekend. They didn't understand and comprehend what they were writing because they just had to get it out. That's how you have people
Half the
make
time of
these
those
videos.
articles, people just like look at the synopsis of it, and then they listen
Yeah,
to people's comments. They
because
don't really watch the shit. And
yeah,
that annoys the
because
fuck
they
out of
don't
me.
watch it. They don't watch it, or they don't have the time to digest it because they're so worried about either A, what comes next, or B, what they have to turn this in, what type of content, what type of article they have to write, what type of or they're just distracted watching it. And I think that distracted watching, that um decrease of the attention span, that want to get on to the next thing, is kind of ruining how a lot of people perceive and understand what they watch.
There's
Dylan,
Dylan.
Hello,
Big D, how you doing, buddy?
Big
My bad.
D.
Oh, I'm
My
dead.
bad.
You good,
Big
bro?
D
You
come.
good?
Oh, hold
How's
on.
it
No, I ain't
going?
gonna say that. I'm gonna say something crazy.
Whoa.
I almost said Big D coming.
Oh,
I ain't saying it.
Coming through. Coming through
Yeah.
everything. Speaking of coming through, since you're here,
hey yo.
I want to know, how do you think your viewing habits and the way you think about anime has changed from 5 years ago to now, Dylan?
From 5 years ago to now,
Yes. Like how much, like
so
how have you thought about anime differently, if at all?
I'd I'd say my taste in anime has changed, but I don't think I view it too much like too differently. Like I don't intentionally look deep into anime. Like I don't analyze shit. That's not how I watch. But like sometimes like I'll have conversations with y'all and it'll seem like I analyze shit and you'll be like, "Yo, y'all, you really looked into this." And I'm like, "Nope, I guess I just watched it and I guess that's just how I thought about it." But like I wouldn't say the way I watched it changed. I still watch it what I would consider to be semi on the surface, but I just get enthusiastic about talks of like what if and shit like that, and that can tend to look like wow he really thought in depth about this when it's really just wow he's been thinking about what ifs. But that's really it.
Yeah, I'll say this as someone who like definitely noticed like over the past few months just the way some of the ways and details and how you like talk and how I think you talk about series haven't changed after our Lord and Savior Fern aired. Um
Yep.
what's it called? I
Hallowed
think
be her name.
That kingdom come. What's it called? I think that when it comes to you, yeah, you definitely don't like take out time to write any like scripts or whatever like I may do for a
Mm.
video or even like decide okay how am I gonna do this on the pod like even like River may say he does. Yeah, he doesn't, but what's it called? But just the way that you watch shows, I think that you make those links naturally. um at least for me, like I have to turn I have my brain in a certain mode when I watch anything, honestly. Like I love just analyzing things. So I can't put my brain into a mode of just like blindly enjoying something without seeing the different techniques of the camera, without seeing the choreography, without connecting what's going to come next in the next part of the plot line T chart, what's how this character is going to react to this, or what's going to be written next in this arc or whatever. Like I just can't watch anime or media without thinking that. But with you, I think it's like synchronous, where you can do both at the same time. Like you can make those dots whenever they pop up. You can connect those dots whenever they pop up in your head, and you also can just sit back and just enjoy it regardless of even if it has those dots at all. And that's really commendable.
I think that's the one way that I was able to get back into slime, because remember, I was like avidly upset with how all it turned into was let's plot on this motherfucker's downfall just cuz, like, and I hated that concept so much where it was just like, yo, like that Slime season 2 was essentially, it was either Slime season 2 or late season 1 was essentially like, yo, where my haters at? And then it was just everybody showed up. That was Slime season 2. And so that made me mad because I was just like, I don't, why are all, like, one, all these people are, they like, all the people hating are hating for no good reason. And like, they never, like, if they, yeah, no, all the people who are hating for no good reason. And so that just makes it annoying. Like, that's what it was for me. I got annoyed by that because it was just like a bunch of pointless fucking haters that show up, and then the situation is resolved. But like, I don't care that I like how it resolved, because usually it was because Rimuru fucks some shit up or somebody fucks some shit up, so it always gets resolved. But the fact that it's there and it's just like, hey, another one, look, another guy who hates you, like, for no fucking reason, just because you're a slime or some shit. That annoyed me a tad, but I'm all fucking in now. I'm on the new season. I haven't caught up, but that's where I'm at. I watched Rimuru beat awakened uh clay bitch's ass.
Gotcha. He was like, "Did I catch you trying to live happy in a new world?" Like,
Yeah, dude, that's what I hate so much. It was just haters. It was like, man, look at all this good shit that these guys have. Look how cool this town is. I'm gonna fuck this place up because my stuff is shit. And that is, I'm just, that baffles me. That concept.
y'all got meat and potatoes here? Like,
Oh my god, bro. Like, that's so wild.
Living all happy as
Just
shit.
like, how about, bro, you could have this if you were just chill with these people. Like, does that not click in their fucking head? Just like, this could all be yours if you were just fucking like civil and nice, but you got to be dicks about everything, and so now you're gonna get shit on.
Yeah, Slime's another
Reincarnated
show.
as a slime.
Slime's another show that I've had to watch for a while, but
oh,
I got burnt out on Isekai, so it's
Couldn't be me.
I know.
Actually, it could be me, because there was a period where you had me watching Sign of Affection, and in that moment in time, isekais were not on my mind at all.
That's true. Wait,
I'll
you
tell you
weren't
that.
doubling up, like just watching the Isekai and the romance, or in the shoujo?
Yeah, but I was not, because I think the isekai that we're talking about was Solo Leveling at the time. I'm pretty sure, because I don't think. Do you consider Solo Leveling an isekai or no?
It's. I mean, it uses the same tropes, to be honest, but
It's like a
I don't
Sword Art
think.
on, like, 'cause that's the thing. It's not. I mean, I guess it's not
Yeah, he's
technically
not
Sword Art.
reborn
That's a
or
bad comparison.
reincarnated, but
But
that's what.
I don't know. But if I was watching the isekai, it was not in the forefront of my mind.
True.
That's for sure.
True.
Which is an odd, is a rarity for that to happen for me.
Mm. It is actually, yeah. One thing I want to talk about in this is the types of shows that we watch as well. I think that a majority of us, just in anime in general, we probably started with shonen, a lot of shonen anime, whether it be like starting on Toonami or just in our anime journey in general. And I think partially in like understanding media literacy and understanding how you interpret media, especially anime, is diversifying. And kind of stemming off of you kind of reminded me of it, Dylan. So you talking about a sign of affection. Um, how do you think that over the course of you watching anime, and this could be anybody or anything, um, like what genres have you gone to watch, or type of shows that you've gone to watch that you wouldn't have otherwise, to basically just get a better understanding of either like anime in general or just like what you like and just like tried shit.
I would say Isekais for me.
Mm.
I think I really loved Devil's a Part Timer. I loved that show. I had binge it for a particular time. I think I stopped watching it just because I haven't had the time to watch it, and at the same time, like, I canceled my Crunchyroll, so I was like, I can't really go back to it now. So that's one of the things I've experienced is like going off, and then like Short Online that was really good at one point. Then right now I don't think what is it, Delicious and Dungeon. I don't know. Is that Slice of Life?
Delicious in general.
I
I have
haven't
to.
seen it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it's slice of life or just like
So yeah,
fantasy, slice of life fantasy.
I'm moving away from shonen. It just has to be particular type of like isekais and like and then like slice of life that are gonna catch my eye. I'm like, oh, this is particularly fun. And then half the times I find these shows either on like YouTube, TikTok, or like a clip of it. I'm like, oh, he's doing something goofy and this looks interesting and fun. And then I find out like one of the voice actors for Delicious in the Dungeon is from the Smosh. I forgot
Hmm.
his name.
Okay.
Not
I have to.
not Padilla, no, right?
No. It's one of the new guys with the colored hair.
Uh, yeah, I don't know any of their names. I'm
He,
not gonna lie.
yeah, he's pretty good. He's really good at voice actor. That's why I was like, oh, I want to see how this guy worked. And then I mentally just forgot that was him, but it just sounded really good. So I had an overall good time. I think I'm seeing new animes just because it just catches my eye or just see them online.
Hmm.
I think I think for me it's I'm similar with Alex. Like if I catch a quick short or something, I'd be like, all right. Or then if I just read the synopsis, I'm kind of more like that. But it's mainly if I'm online and I see something on Instagram or TikTok, I'd be like, you know what? That kind of made me chuckle a little bit. I'm gonna go watch that. But
That's
compared to
exactly how
like
I operate.
10-year-old me, where if anything was anime, I'll just watch it. Like I was watching anything, even if I wasn't supposed to watch it, bro.
Oh man,
Like no, because
sounds like a prison school admission, but
yeah, because like
Oh no!
no, because like when I first got into anime, it was just so blown back. It was so such a different world for me to get into that I just got into it. And then one day, my brother and I just shared a tablet. So then I was watching Bleach because it was on Toonami. Caught it back on the tablet, like let me type it up. And then Bleach took like a break on Toonami, so I was like, "What? Can I find other anime?" And then I looked up Girls Bravo. That was the next one after Bleach.
what?
So,
No,
Girls Bravo is my second anime I've ever watched, and I am not ashamed. It is my second.
Not
anime.
ashamed, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
am not ashamed.
Well, I guess that's better than Boruto for me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh heck you nah, bro! I got a Boruto poster. That was a gift. I would throw that away. Trash anime series.
Hey,
He's looking
That's-
around. He's like, "Can I
that's-
throw this away?" No
I
one's
said
looking.
anime series trash. I ain't say nothing about the manga yet. I ain't reading it
That's-
though, but I ain't say nothing yet.
That's
But,
where I feel like I differ from a lot of people though. Is like I feel like a lot of anime watchers grew up watching anime on TV when they were younger and shit. That's what I hear from a lot of people. But like me on the other hand, like it was like early high school that my brother just threw Neon Genesis Evangelion in my face, and that was the first one that I watched, and it was fucking. That's an interesting one to watch as your first anime, and then I went right to Hunter x Hunter, and so from there it was just bouncing all over the place. But I feel that like I feel like watching anime growing up, like I feel like you have to have developed a better background with anime just from doing that. Like the people who have passively grown up watching anime like you, like naturally end up having a more in-depth understanding of anime and like index of stuff that you've watched,
Yeah.
which I feel like is a massive advantage.
it depends. Some people grow up watching Dragon Ball, and then they get old and watch Dragon Ball Super, and that's their anime journey. So it depends.
I think it's
Yeah,
also
you're not
like
wrong.
how it used to be cool though. Like if you was ever caught, well, I don't want to say caught, but some people they didn't even know the difference. They was like, oh, this is cartoon. Okay, I'm 14 years old. Let me start watching cartoons. But because my brother was like that. My brother was like, he'd get mad at me because I was that type of kid who would like try to keep watching the Boondocks and American Dad at night, and he would see it and he started getting irritated. He'd be like, "You got to start watching adult shows, bro." And I was like, "I don't want to watch Love and Hip Hop." And then he'd literally take the remote and make me start watching like adult shows. Like I'm dead. My brother was so irritated with me actually watching like animated stuff. He was like, "You gotta grow up." No, I was like 14.
Even
14,
a kid is a kid. 14 is still a kid.
But he was really irritated that I wasn't watching more. I guess growing up shows.
Yeah.
He was, if it was anything but anime, he would have been cool.
You said that's your older brother, right?
Criminal Minds.
Yeah, he in the mid. I'm the youngest out of all of my brothers. They're all 10 and 9 years older than me.
Oh yeah, he just wanted you to grow up with him.
Yeah.
That's it. He just wanted you to be on his level.
He's like, hey, bro, stop watching this shit, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when Ruby was coming out, I asked him to watch it with me because I was so fascinated by the trailers of Ruby. And I said, hey, let's spend time together. So then when I did that, he was like, man, he watched the first Blake trailer, the Black trailer. He was like, man, where you be finding this SHIT from, bro? And then he just left the room. And I was just sitting there. I was like, okay.
Okay. He's all sad in the room. He's like, fuck. I
Not my brother liked me watching anime. I was like, all right, bro.
That's insane.
He's my biggest hater.
That's crazy. It'd be your own, man. It'd be your very own. But for me, probably recently, I've tried to expand my taste. Last year, no, I guess at the beginning of last year, 2023, I had started to get into some mecha. So I watched Gurren Lagann, Full Metal Panic. I watched Full Metal Panic, as well as some other shit, some other mecha. But when it comes to anime, like we just watch so many that I'm like, hey man, what's it called? Somebody needs to have watched double digit of these, or at least like tried them or whatever. I be trying to compete with RJ. I'm not gonna lie. I be trying to get to RJ level, and I can't compete with him.
He's trying to compete with the ramen. I'll tell you
I'm
that.
saying he watches like 15, 20 shows a season, and I'm like, I don't care anymore. So, like next season, I'm watching Oshinoko, and that's it.
That was my favorite in 2023.
Yeah, like that's it. And I hate the fact that I'm not watching no original, but like I don't got time to give nothing else a chance. I got like so much old stuff to go back and watch. But like I've tried to diversify my palette with mecha at the start of last year, romance and shoujo, towards the end of the year, and now I think I'm just chilling. I think if I were to look at anything, it's probably fantasy, and that's probably stems from me, trying to get more of a understanding of the tropes in the fantasy genre as someone who's becoming a writer myself. So I need to be versed in those different genres. And I think it's definitely given me more insight on, of course, like anime tropes and such. But also just like you start to see what Frerin pulls from like Tolkien's work. You start to see what anime takes from other aspects of animation that have been around for a long time. You start to see what these stories take from each other. And it just, I think it's definitely made me a more well-rounded, just like viewer, analyzer, podcaster, creator, and just like student of the game. Like I mentioned, I'm an aspiring writer, so that definitely goes a lot into it. I have with me a list of 5 of the top anime on different streaming services, right?
Okay.
And this is kind of stemming from an article that came out that was talking about and showcasing the top viewed anime on Netflix over the past year. Netflix's new most watched anime rankings reveal some major surprises. Number 1, by a wide margin, is Bakihama.
That I say that first one is true because I can't think of anywhere else I can find Baki right now besides Netflix.
Yeah,
not even finding
That's
it.
quite it's such a good show.
Just so many people that I know that are like getting into anime over the fast. Ignore the tabs. Please, for the love of God.
Man, I see a lot of weird things up there, sir. Just kidding.
Oh my God, it's all video scripts. It is.
PH, what? Just kidding.
What's it called? I know so many people that have gotten into anime over the past like few years that like they're like, oh, I watch anime. I watch Baki. I'm like, okay, okay, buddy. So this isn't surprising. What, zooming into it a little bit, what is most surprising to you all on this list? Just looking at it real quick.
Record
The fact that they
Ragnarok
have Demon
season
Slayer
2?
on 3 separate occasions.
Demon Slayer.
Scott Pilgrim.
The fact that it's there 3 separate times. That just annoys me, but that's okay.
I don't know. People like we're in the anime, so like Demon Slayer, whether it be quality or just like the hype is kind of worn off for us. But for like average people, nah, Demon Slayer is still the shit.
I know. I just don't like when they do lists like this, how they split it up by season. But I guess that's the only way to do it, huh?
Oh yeah, they got to.
I've never seen My Happy Marriage, but kind of that and Scott Pilgrim. I know Scott Pilgrim is like a cult classic, but I didn't think people was like that excited about the anime series.
Oh yeah. Well, it's mostly just branding.
Gotcha. And then I just never seen My Happy Marriage. I know it's a top tier anime show, but I just haven't seen it.
It's solid. It's it disappointed me a little bit, but it's solid.
So, but everything else is action. I expect every action show to be the most selling.
Yes. Yeah. Especially like Baki. I'm surprised that no JoJo season is up here. Netflix.
People hate part 6.
Yeah, but like people still are getting into it, and from my understanding, I think Netflix has all the parts, right?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything JoJo on Netflix. Let me check real quick.
Am I tripping?
I thought let's see.
I actually associate JoJo's with Netflix.
Really?
Yeah, at least that's where I watched it, and I've barely had Netflix in my life. Like I've had Netflix for like maybe a year in total.
Yeah, they're on here. Yeah, it's on here.
Okay.
There's only 5 seasons though.
Oh no, yeah, that makes sense because part 2 and 3, I think, are in the same season, or part 1 and 2. I forgot.
I saw Records Ragnarok on there too. I don't really think it's that really impressive. I didn't expect other people to watch it.
It was hyped. But
yeah,
I have a few of those anime in this list, so let's rank the top 5 anime on Netflix, starting with Delicious in Dungeon, Pluto,
Love it.
Baki, Demon Slayer, and My Happy Marriage. If you haven't seen one of these, you can just omit it or put it at the bottom.
I have seen exactly one of these.
Oh my god!
I have seen 3 of them. All right, so already, I'm gonna just be honest. I'm gonna put Demon Slayer at 5, even though I have watched that.
Crazy.
I haven't watched the movie. I haven't watched season 2 or 3. Wait, no, I haven't watched the movie season 2 or 3. Demon Slayer is gonna be at the bottom, bro. I don't really care for it like that. I'm gonna watch it in the future, but I'm only gonna watch it for views. So there we go. So Demon Slayer gonna be number 5 no matter what. And because I don't like big buff men over here fighting and wrestling each other, so I'm gonna put Baki at number 4, bro.
That's crazy.
So Baki number 4. So hey, whatever anybody gotta say against me, it's solid. I don't even care. I'm gonna get hate regardless, but My Happy Marriage, because I'm not married, so My Happy Marriage can go at number 3.
Respect.
Y'all can't be happy if I ain't happy. So number 3 is My Happy
Respect.
Marriage, bro.
Why is that at the bottom 10?
It's gonna be at it's gonna be at number 3 for this list. I'd rather be not happy than watch big buff men fighting each other all day.
I was like, wow.
Y'all know the prison scene from Baki. So,
Oh my god.
My goodness.
yeah. And then I'm gonna just say Pluto. My friend recommended me Pluto to this day to read to become a better mangaka. Pluto. I'm just gonna put it at number 2. And for the joke, we got DD. We got DDD as number 1. That's all I gotta put it for.
You might be joking on it, but it's pretty good.
So just to reiterate, Demon Slayer number 5, Big Buff Men Baki number 4, My Happy Marriage because I ain't married number 3. We got Pluto for the manga. Pluto gonna be number 2, and at number 1 we got my own favorite show for the meme, DD. So there we go. Delicious and Dungeon.
D and
There
D,
we go.
man. D and D.
Goated
D&D.
list, definitely.
D in the D. Like, yeah.
I'll mix it up. I'll mix it up here. Number 5, just because I haven't seen any of it yet. Delicious and Dungeon. Sorry, haven't seen you.
Got him.
Alex's face, bro.
I just haven't
Somebody
seen
pull
it.
that Tim Duncan meme up. Somebody pull that Tim
I haven't
Duncan
seen,
meme
I'm sure
up.
it's great. It's like the second best-selling manga of the decade so far. I'm sure it is, but like I just haven't seen or read it. Fourth, I have to.
Cardiac gonna watch it. Be like, bad.
Hey, I'm about to say that's what the summer's for. I'm gonna watch it because there's nothing else to watch. Baki is for from what I've seen of Baki, there's like no value aside from again half naked men fighting each other.
Big
It's
buff
not
men
about
in a
that,
prison
though.
bathroom, bro.
It can not be about that, but that's all I see. And like I don't care. Pause.
Everybody just loses the context of the freaking story.
Pause.
Would you want to be in the same room as Bakiyama, the big dude, or Yuijo I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Would you want to be in the same room as
you
him?
don't
Alex?
want. Yeah, you don't want.
Nah.
That's what I'm saying.
You get folded, sir.
Yeah,
Like if I don't want to be in the
literally.
room with you, why do I want to watch you? Anyway, My Happy Marriage at 3. It's a cool series, cool little romance. Got a little bit off focus for me. Number 2, Demon Slayer. If it's carried by animation, at least it got carried to second. So that's that. And although it's slow as hell, Pluto at number 1. So that's that. Dylan or Alex want to take a stab?
Not me. Nope. I got nothing.
All right, Dylan, you just go so you can piss me off too.
I knew Alex was mad.
You want me to go then?
Yeah.
All right, I got Baki. It's not about number 1. It's not about sweaty men. All right, I don't know what everybody goes there for because every clip, everybody's like, "Yeah, all you see is buff, sweaty men." No, man, it's not about that. All right, it's about this guy trying to get revenge on his dad for killing his mom, and then his dad's considered the world's strongest guy and like fighter in the world. So, gotta box his dad real quick. So it's a W story, and every time I watch it, it makes you want to go learn how to do some fighting moves and go to the gym. All right, 2. I got Delicious in Dungeon. Amazing story. Love it. Love the characters. Love how it is. It's enjoyable. It's just like something you could just like sit back and just relax to. It's like a comfort show. And if you like cooking, there you go. Me and Ichiban love the show. So that's a W show we both watch. Pluto, love Pluto. Didn't like the ending as much. That's why it's number 3. Cool, great storytelling, but I don't really like the ending. Number 4, Demon Slayer. I have number 4. I read the manga. It's much better than the whole series on the freaking TV show because the manga has less pacing and gets to the point. And half the time watching Demon Slayer, it's like half the time it's just sad shit, and I don't want to like watch it. And I got My Happy Marriage. I haven't watched it yet for number 5.
Respect.
Baki's not about sweaty dudes and fighting, all right, guys? It's more than that.
I'm gonna take my shirt off and watch it.
I'm about to say, can't prove it to me because I won't watch it again. Dylan, you sure you don't want to stab at it, man?
I'm all good. I've only
You don't want the shorts commenters to. He's so wrong.
I don't think
he doesn't know anime.
He's on his end. Get him.
I can't craft it the way Ozzy did. I can't do it like that.
Do you want me to be your narrator then? Like you text it out and I just come up with everything.
Dylan's first
Just
number
ghost
pick.
writing.
Mr. Undercook's first pick is Demon Slayer because you want to know why? Because Tanjiro just a bit. Now I'm playing.
Oh,
Ghost writing anime takes is so crazy. Oh my god,
That'd be insane.
you never see his face.
Look, bro, I can't deliver this like you. This is my take. Deliver it for me. That's wild.
Okay.
That's wild.
One thing, Alex, I'm glad that you brought up the Demon Slayer manga because one thing I did see that was real interesting that I just want to touch on real quick before we leave. Shout out to Mugen, by the way, big supporter in the chat. Shout out,
Shout out to Mugen.
real cool dude, real great conversations as well. In the recent Demon Slayer episode, I believe it was like only one page that was adapted for the episode. the page is like set 6 panels maybe. And if you follow Demon Slayer, we're in the training arc right now. Um, and in the manga, apparently it's just like quick as hell. Like like Alex was saying, anything that like slows down the pacing, anything that focuses on a more emotional or more like building up type thing in Demon Slayer, it really gets like, I won't say rushed past in the manga, but like it the anime very much elongates those parts of the story. Um and it seems like for the rest of the season it's kind of like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but like in the manga, the training arc just is not like long at all. So to make a whole season on this, I was wondering how you kind of felt about it as a manga reader.
It's you see a different side of Tanjiro because you're watching that one arc where he's like, this guy's training everybody. What's his name? Uzui? Is he say his name?
Yeah, Uzi.
You see him train like a bunch of like samurai, and you see Tanjiro come in and like just like outscore everybody. But I don't remember that at all. Like in throughout the manga, I remember was that I wonder if they're gonna change it because somebody else trained him at this arc. That's where we're supposed to get like another introduction to a different character, which I found weird. I think they're trying to like put some like little fill throughout the story to make it last longer because
Yeah.
I think after they get like a big training arc, they do get to the point towards the end of the story, and then I think towards the end of the story they're gonna make two like part one, part two, like a cool ass name like fighting the upper moons part one and two,
Mm.
and I think that's so we're almost at the end of the story of Demon Slayer, and I think they're just like at throwing stuff in just like to keep the pacing going because they can't be like, all right, episode one is like 20 minutes, and this is what's it about. And I think it's just trying to like prolong it enough for the animators just to keep the story going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just it's all right. I don't really have no bias to it. It just makes like that training arc with Chandra just looking swole as hell. That's what it was.
Mm.
I find that shit funny. But I think when they have that other training arc, it's gonna be a little bit better. I wonder if they're gonna just take that out. I hope they don't take it out because that's a good point of the story.
I'm sure they'll still adapt everything. If anything, they'll probably add more to it. But when it comes to it, I found it interesting just to find out that like in the manga that was so short. Like I've heard over the course of Demon Slayer's like adaptation that like the anime definitely elongates the more emotional moments compared to the manga. Like the manga, like you said, is more straight to the point, more about the action, more beat to beat rather than like actually trying to tell a cohesive story, which is a lot of people's problem with the series in general. Um, but it got me wondering whether inherently do like people who watch shows or movies, do they feel the need to see more like build up than people who read? Because like as a reader, I feel like a lot of things, even though it's a manga and even though there is a visual aspect of like pictures, there's still a lot of filling in the blanks. Like the fights aren't in motion. um Not everything, like things can be explained in word, but like not everything can be visualized even in picture. So I wonder if like inherently to the medium of anime there is a level of, hey, I know he gets real strong, but you still got to show it to me over the course of like 8 episodes instead of just a single page. So I was wondering, does anyone else um feel that, as because I think Dylan, you definitely, I don't think you read manga almost at all, right?
Not really. I occasionally see a manga that I'm maybe like, oh, maybe I should pick that up,
Mm.
but I don't like read it the way others do.
So do you?
I have like a couple chapter ones from different manga. That's where I'm at.
Mm. Shao Volume One, the podcast. But what's it called? So do you all feel like when you're reading you need less context compared to when you're watching, where you like, it's good to see what's actually happening on screen, even if it has to add buffer or whatever the hell.
I, to me, like I don't read a lot of manga, but the main reason why is because I feel like it lacks not only emotion, but sometimes it just lacks that human feel. It's like if I'm like a lot of people, they don't feel like that when it comes like I guess reading JJK. They'd be like, oh yeah, and then they can't wait to see it when it's animated. But me, it's just like I don't feel that connection. Like I can read it either fast or slow, which I have for different mangas, and it just it lacks something. That human emotion where I can really care. Like I may be shocked for a couple of seconds, but it's not gonna make me stay up for the rest of like my day. For at least for that's just for me. But if I watch something, I see it animated, I'd be like, oh my gosh, and I keep thinking about it. Like to this day, Promise Neverland, couple first episodes still rings in my head, or any scene with Sister Chrome rings in my head. But if I read that in the manga, I'd be like, dang, that's kind of creepy, and I remember it, but I don't feel like it would have that overlasting effect.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I can.
So that's just me though.
I can see that. There's definitely a lot to the production of anime, just in general, music, motion, like actual telling a moving story, um, that adds to that overall emotion. Dylan and Alex, y'all feel differently or the same or anything?
I
I think
definitely
I.
prefer anime over manga. I'll just put it that way. I don't think I think my imagination. I used to have much more visual imagination back when I'd read books, but I don't read books anymore. I watch stuff because I don't have the attention span to read, and my brain is dead. And so if I don't see something, it's not going up here. So
He's a crayon eater, guys.
Oh
I
my
eat
god,
my very smooth brain. I have a very smooth brain.
Jesus!
He's smart though. He has his moments where he's smart.
Not really.
No, stop! You be downplaying yourself.
His favorite crayon is red because thinks it tastes just like strawberry.
I don't have a favorite crayon because I don't see color, Alex.
Are you colorblind?
No.
Oh, I was like, oh damn, I'm gonna dig
He's
that.
accepting. I get that. I get
Good
that.
person.
There's definitely advantages to different mediums. Shout out to Leaf. He said reading manga is like eating a burger with no bev. I can eat the burger, but it's just not complete. You know what I mean? I get that. There's a lot of stuff to tell his stories that like I'd like to think that over the course of human history, like we've just gotten better at telling stories
So
from
fucking dead.
from just like word of mouth at the campfire to creating pictures to creating movies and moving pictures to adding sound to adding color to making it putting it in shorter bites into TV to putting it in shorter bites to entice people to watch it in bigger bites to entice people to read it and creatively add their own things to it. I think I'd like to think that we've gotten better at that. So I'd like to think that inherently anime is a better medium than manga. Um, Appreciate you, Leaf. So I hope y'all are doing good. Uh, what's it called? So I can agree with you, Dylan, and even you as it. There's definitely some emotion that gets brought out by the inclusion of a soundtrack. I will say, if you've never read Attack on Titan with the album My Dear Melancholy playing in the background, yeah, you don't know what emotion is, man. I'm not gonna lie. The
So you don't know
weekend
shit.
was spitting on that album, and it fits that manga perfectly. Um, but I think with that, it brings us to the saddest part. The saddest part of the pod. The ending.
You and Riverbend.
Oh my god. Oh no.
I hate the motherfuckers.
Oh my god. I have to keep the tradition,
Don't
Dylan.
cry for them.
I have to.
Don't cry for them, Ozzy. Don't cry for them.
Wait, River's not here. We don't have to cry, so we're good.
You're right. Yeah. He's not a
We don't have
trendsetter.
to act like we care.
You're not a what's the line? You're not a fucking Kali. You a fucking Kali. Actually, I don't want to say. I don't want to say that has too many.
Real eyes, real eyes.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
His lame ass
Yeah.
catch. Realize.
But yeah, in the description below, we appreciate you for watching. In the description below is a link to the Patreon as well as all of Azid's socials and all his projects that he's going to be working on. If not, putting the information thing up here, maybe up here. I don't know what side I'm going to be on. But any last words from anybody before we head out?
Yeah.
I wish
Reading
I
a
was here for more
manga.
of it, but smooth brain let information go in my brain, so I apologize for not being here for all of it. To all the fans out there who are really missing me.
Oh my god!
You know,
You've been gone for too long, bro. You downplaying it. They do miss you, man. I'm gonna have to put
We all
in the
miss them.
title. We're gonna have to put featuring Acid and Dylan, aka Mr. Undercooked.
Man, I gotta get featured in the title now. Wow.
And they're like, oh my god, Mr. Undercook's back, guys.
Just to let you,
Finally.
just to let your base know. You know, you've been out for a while.
Yeah.
Now. But
I guess so. I guess that's fair.
But yeah, man.
Got you. I love Opie as much as any senpai.
Oh my god.
I just came up with that.
And with that, we will catch you later. Flow out. Sub, support. Thank you. And peace. Whee!